Yeah. Welcome to the last episode of the Daily Chat podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. All right, everybody. So this one's gonna get a little emotional for us, isn't that right, Danny boy?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, if you had an old cat that you weren't really fond of, and then that cat just kind of like disappears, and then, you know, comes back as a zombie, and then terrorizes your small Maine neighborhood. It's kind of like that.
Did you just explain the plot to Pet Sematary?
I did.
Okay.
Which is what I equate this show to. Like, we say it's gonna die, but it'll be back. And sometimes dead is better.
Is it sad that my knowledge of Pet Sematary mainly just is all about the Simpsons parody episode?
Yeah, no, that's fair. And you know what? I think it's like really creepy and weird that, like, I haven't read the original Stephen King book, but I've been really excited for the movie. And apparently there's this whole like Native American like Wendigo like subplots, and like the Wendigo is terrifying, and it was really never brought up in the original movie. So I know that we're not talking about Pet Sematary today, but I kind of hope that we get into the Wendigo, because like zombies are a little overdone. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Them and Nazi zombies.
Right. And I think yeah. As soon as we got the Nazi zombie movie, like we were done.
Yeah.
Like
we got more than one Nazi zombie movie, actually.
People who still watch The Walking Dead, feel free to disagree with me, but
most people I talk to who still watch The Walking Dead at this point are just basically saying, I've stuck around for this long, might as well see how it ends.
What a defeatist attitude.
Right, exactly.
What a sad way to exist.
I know, right? I left The Walking Dead like 5 years ago, and I regret nothing.
Yeah, what a sad way to exist. Yeah, I mean, but I felt that way about the comic book too. It was like it just kept. But I mean, that's kind of how the comic book was written. It's written without an end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's meant to keep going.
All right. So Dan, since this is our last episode, and we're probably not going to get around to doing a review of it, and when I say probably, I mean definitely, we decided we want to go over, since it's the most anticipated movie since the last Avengers movie, why don't we talk about the things we want or hoping to see the most in the upcoming Avengers Endgame?
The things that we're most expecting.
Yeah, the things that we're most expecting. And we're not ranking them, even though I'm a little disappointed by it, because we really just didn't have the time nor the ability to truly quantify what we wanted. And the main reason why I'm upset is because since this is the last episode, I was really, really looking to use the final countdown as a sound bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could use Fly into the Danger Zone. Well, we don't know where we're going next.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Because login fits for any situation.
True.
Yes.
True. So we're in the Danger Zone. Yeah.
Exactly, just like that.
That joke works on so many levels. So we're just going to talk about some of the major fan theories that we've heard, some of our own speculations that we want, or hell, just things we think would be cool to see in the next Avengers movie. And for the record, no, we're not really going to be talking about Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt, because number one, everybody wants that.
Right.
And number two,
no one's going to get
that one doesn't really need much explanation. It's just Ant-Man goes up Thanos' butt, kaboom.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of excited for, just to kind of start off, and not in any particular order, like we said. I'm looking forward to the Avengers in space. They've been teasing that, space suit and Tony Stark is coming back, and we've kind of now interwoven between the Guardians of the Galaxy and the whole galactic universal feeling behind these movies now. So it's kind of curious to see how well some of these Avengers are going to do in space.
Right.
Already the joke was there that like Hawkeye and Black Widow, as much as they're great and like round off the human element of the team, are not the most useful Avengers in a fight. But in space, Hawkeye shoots an arrow and it goes forever.
Right, exactly.
You know? So that's kind of dope.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in theory, it could hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah, I mean, because, the universe is endless. So, yeah, it could literally go on forever. There's absolutely nothing to stop it.
Exactly.
I do have to say, though, that I think that the spacesuits are kind of wonky looking. Like, they feel weird to me. I don't know. Something about it feels like very, like, early 2000s comic book movie and not.
Yeah, you know what? It does have very much that whole X-Men feel to it.
Yeah, like X-Men or like Blade wore very similar kind of like weird padded like black and silver kind of like body armor, and it just feels like, and especially like the fact that they've like teased it through toys and figurines and stuff where like the Hulk is wearing like a bodysuit and you're like,
what the fuck does the Hulk need a bodysuit for?
Do you think the Hulk gets cold in space? I mean, first of all, do we think the Hulk gets cold?
Right.
Second of all, do we think that like a helmet makes sense, but like I haven't seen him with a helmet. I've just seen him with a spacesuit.
Right.
Which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, my thing about it is I kind of don't, in a similar vein to what you're saying, I kind of don't like how it's like one uniform kind of a thing. I kind of wish, like Iron Man had his own kind of getup and Thor had his own getup. Like I prefer that,
Right, sure.
But I get it. They're going into space, so
I don't think I saw Thor in one, which is kind of like if we're gonna do another one of these, like because the last movie was very segmented, right? Where like we had like 3, sometimes 4, like little plot points going on all at the same time, and just kind of showing like how disassembled they are. Haha, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't see Thor in a spacesuit, or like we didn't see Carol in a spacesuit.
Carol doesn't need one, and I don't think Thor needs one either.
I mean, Iron Man doesn't need one. You could make the argument. Not really.
I meant their physical biology makes it so that way they do not need a spacesuit.
Well, I mean, Carol Danvers does need a spacesuit. She just has her own.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she will die in the vacuum of space. She still breathes. And
true. True.
I mean, Thor's a god, so there's no cap on that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is one thing I'm looking forward to is I want to see how well Carol gels with the rest of the team.
I think,
if at all,
I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work out really well. I think that there's going to be like just like the first Avengers movie where there's that initial tension, between Tony, Cap, and Thor. I think in this one it'll be the similar type of thing with Carol between Tony, Thor, and Cap. Like that, like she's not like they're gonna feel like she needs to like prove herself to be part of the team, and Carol Danvers is like, fuck you, no I don't. Like, like I don't have anything to prove to you losers.
She kind of doesn't.
No, she absolutely doesn't.
I don't know. I kind of hope they don't go with tension would be one thing, but I hope they don't go with the old cliche of you're a superpowered being, I'm the superpowered being, we need to fight.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That is a little tired. I don't,
especially considering the fact that I think Endgame was never mind. I was about to say I think Endgame was the first time any of the superheroes didn't fight each other when they first met, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, there was that whole Mexican standoff with the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers. Never mind.
Right. I mean that was but yeah. And then I mean it's not like we didn't get enough of that in Civil War. Of like
oh god, that's like the whole movie,
the Avengers and fighting. But they are going to need something. I mean, it kind of does make you question like what the overall plot is going to be, right? Because if it's 3 hours long and we're spending like we obviously cannot be spending 2 hours and 30 minutes in character development, right? Like there's got to be someone for these people to. There's always the early fight scene, the mid fight scene, and the closing fight scene. They're always kind of like segmented in threes as far as like story arc goes. So it begs the question of, who exactly are they going to fight? Like, they're not going to start fighting Thanos right off the bat. I'm also not expecting 3 hours of just fighting Thanos,
Right.
Like, last time we had, Obsidian Maw and Ebony, whatever.
No, it's Ebony Maw and Obsidian Black, I think, or something like that.
Whatever, like the most edgelord names of all times.
Right. I don't know. That we could talk Image Comics. Those are definitely the most edgelord names of all time. But
Brian, it's Obsidian Black. Shut up and go get a Hot Topic gift card.
Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of begs the question of like who are we fighting this whole time? Like, are the Chitauri going to come back and play a role? Like, are the Kree involved in this somehow? I'm like trying to think of the other intergalactic kind of villains that they've introduced now that they've kind of like gone away with like, oh, the Skrulls really aren't the bad guys idea, which I'm sure we're going to revisit soon. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm curious to know who's going to be kind of the mini bosses, if you will, of this movie.
Right, considering the fact that we killed all of that, pretty much all of Thanos' kids are dead except for Nebula, but she doesn't really count at this point because she's a good guy.
I think we're kind of going into like anti-hero kind of territory,
Yeah.
Like at this point, like she's about as her alignment would probably be like chaotic neutral,
I'd lean chaotic good because she's against Thanos, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but she's for herself. She's not for any kind of greater driving good. But yeah, okay, I could see chaotic good. I could see chaotic neutral. I think there's arguments to be made for both. But yeah, no, you're right. And like, let's not kid ourselves. It's not like we could have a mid-fight boss with all the Avengers against Nebula. Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
You'll get riggedy wrecked.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it would just. I think even Tony could take her. To be quite honest with you.
I mean, Gamora made a job out of just like beating the crap out of her.
Right. Exactly.
Like, and although Gamora is the most deadly woman in the universe, like there's with just the combined power with our combined powers, like
with our powers combined,
there's no hope. So I'm curious to know, like, I'm almost curious to like hop on the IMDb. I don't normally do this, but see what the character listings are and see if I recognize any names of anyone other than Thanos, Josh Brolin. Winston Duke is coming back as M'Baku. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I think we were all kind of expecting that.
Yeah. Well, I saw Us the other night, which, by the way, I will go ahead and say Tilda Swinton is the Ancient One in the cast here. Tilda Swinton is in here. Crossbones also in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Trying to see if there's anybody else that I recognize. I mean, as far as villains go, I mean, not that.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Eric Patrick Cameron as Midtown High student.
Yeah.
We also have a 70s car girl #1.
Oh, so we're going back in time. 70s car girl #1, 70s scientist lab worker. So we've at least got like a flashback scene.
I kind of don't want them to go the whole time travel route because I can't stand time travel. I think it's a cop out. But if they do, the big question I've been having is what are they going to do after, after they defeat Thanos? And if they do a lot of time travel, I think that could potentially set up Kang the Conqueror as a big bad.
Right. So funny you should mention that because I actually saw, I think it was on like Dread Report or something the other day, that Angelina Jolie was in talks for the Eternals movie. So at some point in the future, we're going to get the Eternals. So that also brings in, like, I mean, the Entity. That brings in, I think it's Lord Chaos and something Order, something like that. But more importantly, and where I'm getting at is Galactus. And like real Galactus.
Well, now that they have the rights back.
And I think that also gives them like a nice way to kind of like J-hook back into the Fantastic Four.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is a much missing addition to this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, even not being involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've never felt a loss aside from like wanting certain characters to be involved in stories. You know what I mean? Like, but like, right. I don't miss like Professor X, like, poking his head up and being like, well, Tony, actually, like, shut the fuck up, Charles. Like, nobody cares.
I'm sorry, it's just that you say "shut the fuck up, Charles," and now I automatically think I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, no, shut up, Charles. Nobody cares. But like, would Wolverine, be awesome in a lot of this? Yeah, like, would be cool. I mean, Magneto, always a favorite of mine. So, like, awesome. Yeah, good.
And of course, we all know who you really want to be in the MCU.
Yes, we do.
Oh yes. Squirrel Girl.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's who I'm really. She's gonna be in the next Deadpool movie. I guarantee it.
Probably. No, you want Doctor Doom.
I do want Doctor Doom. Pretty much more than
you know what? I want Doctor Doom too. I want Doctor Doom done right more than anything.
And I think Doctor Doom is a great character, moving forward in the MCU to bridge between like the mysticism of Doctor Strange and the science of Fantastic Four. So that way he can work as like just like how we had Loki, kind of doing the same type of thing to bring about Thanos. Dr. Doom could do the same type of thing to bring about Galactus.
So you want him to be a herald. You don't want the Silver Surfer. You want Doom to be a herald of Galactus?
No, I don't want Doom to be a herald. I think he could be like the archstone of which those stories could be like positioned.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't think that I'm not looking for Dr. Doom in service to Galactus, because let's be real, Dr.
Doom serves no one other than Doom.
Goddamn right, and thank you for that. Doom serves no one other than Doom, right? But I do think that you have this opportunity to expand the Marvel Universe out, the Marvel Cinematic Universe out, like by introducing characters like Doom, the Fantastic Four, and then Galactus that allow you to tie in what the MCU has already done with the, Masters of the Mystic Arts and some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinite Comics, all of that, Cosmic Comics rather, all of that. So I do think that there's an interesting kind of way to go from here with a lot of like doors that they've opened up. Because I truly believe that we're not going back to terrestrial stuff. Like,
I don't know about that because for starters, the first movie we're getting after Avengers Endgame is Spider-Man Far From Home. So they can't leave Earth altogether.
No, I just mean like the big movies. Like,
oh, you mean like, so you mean to tell me Avengers 5 will take place in space?
I need to tell you that Avengers 5 will be fighting some cosmic threat again, or at least setting up another big cosmic threat. Because that's what all the big Marvel books, that's what all the big Marvel Avenger books are. Like if you look at, Secret Invasion, or if you look at the Kree-Skrull War, or anything, I mean, Infinity Wars, which we're in, right now, or just coming out of, you know what I mean? Like, they always center around the fucking Eternals, or the Time Stones, or, the Chitauri invading, you know what I mean? Like, they all center around that. And all of these movies, like, I mean, with the exception of, Age of Ultron, which set up a lot, kind of gets there anyways.
Yeah, arguably, Age of Ultron set up too much.
Well, I mean, even Age of Ultron, even though it was a terrestrial movie, like, still brought in a lot of the lore on, like, the Mind Stone and a lot of the powers that it had. So, it wasn't that far off from being, a quote-unquote, like, space movie of its own.
Right, exactly.
So,
exactly.
I think we jumped ahead a little too far in like what we're expecting beyond Endgame.
Well, here's the reason why, though. I think it's important for us to have this conversation because you and I both know, and I'm assuming anyone, all two of you, hi Paul Donnelly, are listening. It's because of the Disney-Fox merger that just got finalized. And I think because the big rumor is we don't know what's happening in Spider-Man officially after Far From Home. Like, yeah, a few things have been announced, but we don't know when they're coming. Like, we know that we're getting Doctor Strange 2, and we know we're getting the Eternals, and we know we're getting not Doctor Strange, I just said that. We're getting Guardians 3 with returning James Gunn. Yay! We know those are coming. We just don't know when they're coming. That's the thing.
Yeah, they've all been announced, but they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, like, we keep saying that the big rumor is going to be Avengers versus X-Men, which, yes. Oh, yes. Sign me up.
Right. Avengers.
I want Deadpool. Like, my big thing, though, when it comes to this whole Disney-Fox merger is recast everybody except for Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on Wolverine, on who I think could play him. I will.
Daniel Radcliffe.
No, what? Harry Potter? No,
That's been the rumor, or a rumor.
that's nah.
No.
I'm okay with that. But I mean, it looks like, I mean, yeah, we're supposed to get. You're right. We're supposed to get Spider-Man. We're supposed to get a Black Widow, Eternals, Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2. I mean, you can kind of just like go down the list of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You just go down the list of like movies that did well that are definitely going to get a third one. Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. That's gonna happen. Captain Marvel 2. Absolutely gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
These are like no-brainers that if a Marvel movie has already come out, like it's going to get a sequel. What I'm more interested in at the moment is like the new properties that they're looking to develop.
Right. And now they've got everything back, just about.
They have pretty much completed the Infinity Stone, yeah.
Except for, Disney, Sony needs to, stop being greedy and just give Marvel the rights back to everything Spider-Man, I say.
Yeah, there's very few things that they don't own. I mean, pretty much it's like Venom and like 5 out of the 6 of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, and you could always, put whoever you want into the Sinister Six.
Big wheel. I want a goddamn big wheel. Or Stiltman.
You want big... I think we're going to be getting a Sinister Six movie sooner than you think because... It won't be the Sinister Six that we want. Like, there's not going to be a Doc Ock, I don't think. But if you watched Spider-Man Homecoming, obviously introduced the Vulture, obviously introduced the Shocker, subtly introduced the Tinkerer, and also not so subtly introduced Scorpion. Right. So we had 4. We had 4 there, and it was done in such a perfect manner because 2 out of those 4 were done as Easter eggs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely think maybe not now that we're going to get Mysterio. Little shout out to Spectacular Spider-Man, the cartoon show, not the comic book. Now that we're getting Mysterio, we have number 5 potentially. And also backtracking a little bit or going off topic, whatever. Really enjoyed that we're getting teases of little Easter egg hints of. Sandman and Hydro Man. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Avengers to Spider-Man Far From Home. I do wish that they waited on the trailer. I understand that there's a need to get the marketing material in front, but it makes such a big spoiler for the movie in that going in you're like, well, everything's going to be all right, guys. I mean, not that we didn't think it was because we know that they're not we know that they're not going to kill off all. Yeah, no comic book character stays dead. We know they're coming back, but you could have eased us into it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just been this whole way Marvel and other studios have been marketing their big tentpole franchises. In general, that's just been annoying me. For example, I've gone on and on on this podcast about how. The one thing that was ruined for Thor Ragnarok with me was the big fight between Thor and the Hulk in the middle of it. Wish they didn't. I understand why they did it. I just wish they didn't put it in the trailers. And, again, on a similar note, that's kind of my biggest gripe with Black Panther because that scene when Killmonger throws him off the side of the cliff over the waterfall, I'm just like, I already know he's going to be in Infinity War. Why are you showing me this part right now? Like,
I get you. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to kill off Iron Man in a movie called Iron Man. I mean, I understand tension, but we're a little jaded, yeah. But no, I agree. Mm-hmm. As far as things that I, continuing on like what I'm, looking, I don't know if I'm looking forward to or just I guess my expectations. I mean, we're definitely going to be retiring some heroes out of this. If they die, I don't know. Does Captain America get sent back in time to 1940 and lives out the rest of his life in a very, in a quiet post-war kind of bliss? Maybe. Huh?
With Peggy.
Maybe, but Carter. It kind of ruins a lot of, does that mess with the time stream or just does it get sent to an alternate reality where that happens? I feel like Iron Man is going to be like Robert Downey Jr. Is going to be, very much sidestepped and is going to be taking on, if Robert Downey Jr. does appear in any more of these movies, I think it's going to be much more of an administrative type role. Kind of like how we've seen Samuel L. Jackson used in the past, where he's there, but he's not like doing the whole ton, but he is like managing the whole thing. I think Thor has a lot of like rebuilding to do for Asgard. And as we know, Asgard is not a place, it's a people, which is dumb, but I agree. So yeah, I think that like at least those big three are going to, kind of step aside. I think Black Widow's most likely going to stick around. Hawkeye, Clint Barton, that's one I'm kind of curious about, because
he's due to get a TV show.
And I always felt that like that was the most character. I mean, I'm a big Hawkeye fan in general, like going all the way back to like the original Avengers arcade game. Like I always thought like he and Cap were like the two best characters to play as, just because they had range attacks and you didn't have to worry about getting beat up all the time. And if you played that game like I did, it took a lot of quarters, and your mom only gave you like $2, so you had to be conservative. That's exactly. It's smart gameplay. Is all it is. But yeah, I think Clint Barton has a lot of story left to tell, and if Jeremy Renner is, still looking to come back, I think that he can definitely be one of the, leadership roles of, the quote unquote new Avengers, which definitely feels like, if that's not the title of the next one, I don't know what will be.
Right. No. Well, the big rumor is that we're going to be getting Kate Bishop, or a Kate Bishop type character.
That's cool. I like Kate Bishop too. She's funny.
Honestly, I love their dynamic. In fact, one of my favorite miniseries in the comic books ever was Hawkeye versus Deadpool, which it was more like Hawkeye teams up with Deadpool, but whatever. Like, yeah. But totally. Look, I wouldn't mind adding more to Hawkeye, because I'm tired of people misunderstanding the character altogether because of the movies.
Sure. Yeah, I know. I get it. And like he has a lot more. I mean, they give him a lot more leeway in the comics as far as like his abilities go, where they definitely have written him in the MCU as like, he's just a guy. He's just a guy. He's just kind of talented, but he's just a guy,
Yeah, I mean, like the whole, I have a bow, I'm on a floating city with a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Okay, but that was funny as hell.
Oh, it was, and I'm just trying to add to it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think the new roster we're definitely getting. I mean, Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. I'm leaving out someone big and important. Vision, maybe.
Vision, if he comes back.
Yeah, I don't really care about Vision. I never did. I never do. I don't like him in the comics. I didn't like him in the movies. I like Paul. Is it Paul Bettany? Paul Bettany?
Yeah, I think his name. Yeah.
Yeah. I like him as an actor. Like, there's tons of movies that I like him in, and it's nothing to do with like him personally. I have no problem with the actor. I just don't like Vision. He just always came off as like really shitty to me. Like he's just always in the background, making like the moral high ground argument about everything all the time, always. And it's like, dude, shut up.
It's like, you're a robot.
Yeah, well, and he would tell you that he's a synthetic life form. And like you're like, that's the kind of data bullshit that I just cannot stand. Like, there's just, and it's also partially due to the fact that like situationally he's so OP, except that he's not ever in a fight.
Right.
Like not really, like not when it like, oh, I can phase through walls and I have this super powerful mind beam and I can crush and obliterate buildings. Like, he is, with the exception of Sentry, like the closest thing that Marvel has to like legit Superman,
or beyond. Yeah,
or beyond, right? And then as soon as things actually start like going down, dude's useless. He's one punch, he's laid out, totally cheap. Right. It's like, how do you even have why do you even have pain receptors?
Right?
Like, what is the point? You don't need them, or at least like you could turn them off in a fight. And it's like, oh no, I got hit. You're like, why? Right. All people, did you get hurt? Like, it literally makes no sense to me ever. It never does.
Right? No.
And I'm still angry about the whole No More Mutants thing. And I'm never gonna not forgive Wanda, and then by extension, the Vision for that, even though they totally got off scot-free with a legit war crime.
Right.
Not okay.
Yeah, I got to read that story arc because I don't know entirely what you're talking about, but yeah, I get the idea.
So at the end of the Avengers like original run, which was Avengers Disassembled, Wanda Maximoff has a mental breakdown. Like
I know about that. I just don't understand the war game part about it, the war crime part.
Because she literally killed off and
genocide.
Yeah, like she killed off like a ton of literally almost all of the mutants except for like a very small percentage.
And I thought she didn't kill them. I thought she just got rid of their powers.
It's kind of both.
Okay.
It was kind of both because I don't remember if that's how like Genosha also kind of like backs into that at like the very beginning or the very end of it too, where like that whole island like gets destroyed, where like all the mutants lived and there was like a huge deal for like Magneto and like broke him.
Right.
But and then yeah, like when they were trying to like rebuild and repower, like she pretty much decided like nope, nobody can have mutant powers anymore. Which I understand from a strategic writing standpoint because Marvel was getting a little heavy with like the amount of mutants that were running around. Like the X-Men were kind of ridiculous. They had, hundreds.
Oh, they had like their own city, pretty much.
They did. They literally did. They had their own. They did not even their own city. Like Genosha was its own country.
Right.
Country of mutants. So like I understand like clearing the playing field, but also like the fact that nobody ever held her like responsible or at least like accountable for that is like the most egregious thing I ever thought.
Right.
It was like the same thing with like the Inhumans that I hate. That I absolutely hate the Inhumans for. Which was, I guess the Terrigen Mist is killing mutants, but like we don't really care. We could stop it, but we're not. And you're like, you guys are dicks. Like that is a super dick move. People are literally dying, and you're just like, What's wrong with you? No, we're still good, guys. No, you the fuck aren't.
No, you're not.
You absolutely are not.
No. I mean, anybody who considers themselves royalty, even though they rule over nothing but like 10 people who live on the moon.
10 people who live on the moon?
Yeah.
Black
10
Bolt,
people who live on the moon.
Badass character, though. I'll give him that. Like, Black Bolt is badass.
No, and I don't hate all the Inhuman characters. I like Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, but
I like Miss Marvel. I don't.
Yeah, she's a weird one. I don't count her as a true Inhuman, as in because like she didn't grow up in the Inhuman culture and then get hit with the Terrigen Mist as per tradition. Right. She was just like walking along one day, and all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, what's this cloud? I can shapeshift and rip off Simpsons quotes." Like,
right? Yeah. No, I mean, I don't dislike characters that are Inhumans. I dislike the Inhumans as
right, exactly. Like the organization, the Inhumans, not the people.
It's like the differentiator between like I want to say like all X-Men are mutants, but that's not entirely true. But like it should be for this example. Like not all mutants are X-Men, but all X-Men are mutants. Like that doesn't exactly work because not all X-Men are actually mutants.
Right, I get it.
And some are just like regular folks, and
or some of them are like Spider-Man, even though he's not an X-Man. You know what I mean? Like
some of them were vampires for a minute, and some of them are techno-organic life forms. It gets messy.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone way off topic. But you know what? It's the last show. We're gonna do it anyway. Going back to what we want to see after Endgame, and the big rumor I keep hearing they keep throwing around is Avengers versus X-Men.
I liked the book up until like the last couple of issues.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
I mean, you mean the part where Scott kills Professor X, or?
Oh, that I didn't mind.
No,
that didn't bug me. That didn't bother me. That was the kind of like my least of the. I just the Phoenix Force is just such a MacGuffin,
Yeah,
like it's all powerful, interdimensional, power of 1,000 suns. You're like, okay, and then
whatever.
And then Captain America punches you in the mouth, and all of a sudden, not so tough anymore.
Right.
You're like, oh, okay, well, I guess never
Well,
mind.
there goes that.
Okay, good job, everybody. Like,
All right, we're done, folks. Let's go home.
yeah, it's that kind of like cosmic power thing. Like, whereas like Avengers Endgame, like the fact that they lost and the fact that they're like reeling now and have like actual consequences that they had to deal with feels so much more real and relatable than any time that they ever introduced the Phoenix Force, even in the third X-Men movie. Yeah, I'm going there. Where it was like,
or the next X-Men movie.
Yeah, or the next X-Men movie. That's right. We're getting another new X-Men movie.
Shockingly.
Yeah, and we're also getting the New Mutants too.
No, we're not.
Is that not happening?
I think that got scrapped because of the merger. I think.
They did it all. They filmed it.
Doesn't mean they have to release it.
It's releasing August 2nd.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Then that will officially be the last Fox X-Men movie ever.
Yeah. Wow, they've got Magic, Sunspot. Wow, they've got some kind of weird.
Sunspot? I thought they already had. Wait. What does Sunspot do again exactly? He like shoots stuff out of his.
He literally has flames coming out of his butt. If you don't believe me, Google a picture.
Hold on. Images. Days of Future Past. Oh, he was in Days of Future Past.
He was in Days of Future Past, yes.
Yeah. What's his real name?
It's like
Bobby DaCosta. Never mind.
What
because in The Gifted, there's a character that has he's the one whose hands light up. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. Well, there was another like Sunspot. Like the original Sunspot, I think was Japanese. Unless
Eclipse.
No, I'm thinking.
No. I just looked it up. That's the character I'm thinking of. Eclipse.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was another like Sunspot too, or at least a character that had very similar powers.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I'd be looking forward to seeing how they introduce the X-Men into this MCU more than anything.
Yeah.
Because the Fantastic Four, they're kind of an easy fix. It's just space stuff happens, they get powers.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, like the X-Men, it's like, so for a brief period of time on, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it looked like they were going to try and set the Inhumans up to basically take the place of the X-Men, as in like people who were born with powers and then they suddenly manifest and now they're the ostracized ones.
Boo.
Yeah, it's kind of a storyline that they stuck with it for a while, and it's not that they did it poorly. It's just it's kind of sort of fallen to the back now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Are there any big bads you're looking forward to seeing or hoping that they introduce in the next future, in the foreseeable future?
I mean, yeah, like I said, Galactus, Doctor Doom.
Ones that we haven't mentioned yet.
Ones that we haven't mentioned yet. I mean, yeah, like I've always wanted to see him like Mojo, real action. Like those, I know it sounds stupid, but like those like X-Men comics where Mojo is involved somehow always become like my favorite X-Men books. And I'm always surprised when like you're reading something and it's just like completely ridiculous and it's totally outlandish and you're reading through it and you're like, and then like Mojo's like, this is all Mojo Vision. I'm like, oh, Mojo, you bastard, you got me again.
It's like April Fool's pretty much every time.
April Fool's. I think it's a fun way to kind of, I mean, just like Mysterio for Spider-Man is a fun way to kind of like bend reality and put him in some very weird kind of situations. And like,
yeah,
that's what I always love about Doctor Strange is like, by the hairy hosts of Hoggoth, there's just always some weird shit going on. It's kind of what I always liked about Mojo. In that like, it's just bizarro world. It's just absolutely like
right.
So freaking strange. And I think it's a fun way to kind of like do stuff. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, like I've always wanted to see, kind of and I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is built for this because they keep killing off the villains, but I've always wanted to see like the Dark Avengers you know, and like that whole like plot line, or like the Thunderbolts, which is kind of like
Mhm.
the better version of the Suicide Squad
Right.
because they are actually like,
Well, here's the thing. Not all the villains are dead. Like I said, Spider-Man's got his villains locked up. We know Zemo's still around. He's in prison, but he's still alive.
yeah, but for the most part, they're all dead.
Yeah, for the most part.
Anyone that like really like matters or counts, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Zemo's cool and all, but like, you know, I was really looking for like Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers, you know, headed by Norman Osborn with Bullseye secretly being
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, and Daken secretly being Wolverine, you know, like that, all that kind of, fun stuff.
Right.
That was like so much fun after the Secret Invasion and Avengers Disassembled storylines. Like
Right.
those runs, I think, are just like kind of the gold standard of like modern era like comics. Like that 2008 through like 2013 was like phenomenal writing.
Right. Right.
Which is where they're pulling a lot of this stuff from. I mean, a lot of it comes earlier from like the 90s, and then we've got like origin stories and stuff. I mean, Mordo is still around.
Yeah, Mordo is still around.
I actually kind of wonder if he's going to play a role in Endgame.
I don't think he's going to play a role in Endgame, but I bet he plays a role in Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
where he will die.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Which I've been saying this about Marvel forever. Like, stop killing all the main villains. Like, how about you keep, like, the Lieutenant alive because he's all, you killed my mentor. Now I'm going to kill you. Rah!
Well, I mean, Crossbones is, in the IMDb for Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, but is he going to be in a flashback or is he coming back?
You're asking questions I don't know. When does the movie come out? What? How long?
In like 3 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, we gotta look for
April 23rd.
I think it feels like we're kind of rounding this down because we keep going off on random ass tangents. But I think the thing that I'm probably the most excited for is a Hulk v Thanos rematch.
Yes, and if my theory is correct, which it probably isn't, we're gonna get one of the smarter versions of the Hulk.
Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk, yeah.
Professor Hulk would be cool.
I'm be okay with it.
Be kind of weird, but Professor Hulk is always weird.
Well,
Hulk was smart when they first, like, not smart, but like was, was cognizant. We'll say that, like during the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Like he wasn't Professor Hulk, but I think he was like just coming out of like Joe Fixit, like that character. That
I don't know. Like my thing with my biggest complaint about the Hulk is how the writers just can't seem to agree, or they always go back and forth on which Hulk we're getting.
I mean, the new Incredible Hulk storyline that's been ongoing for Marvel currently has been phenomenal, and it has like smarter Hulk, not like necessarily like smart Hulk, because there's different tiers of classification of like Hulk smart, right? Like there's like Hulk is a total savage. Hulk is a dumbass. Hulk has like some communication functions, but is not great. Some were like Hulk is like pretty damn with it, not a genius, but like you or me, you know what I mean? If you can figure stuff out, knows what it's going on, and then there's like Professor Hulk, which is like, the final kind of end of that. There's like
his final form.
Well, yeah, his final form. There's like 4 or 5 different kind of like iterations of like how Hulk smart can be. I'm sounding dumb as I explain that.
Dan explained Hulk, but Hulk logic confused Dan.
Hulk logic make Dan hurt head.
Right. But that should be interesting when we finally see Professor Hulk or smarter Hulk, I guess. I don't know, but that should be a more interesting aspect. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing Valkyrie in the movie, actually.
Oh, was she announced?
She's in the movie, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. In fact, I'm looking at the IMDb page right now. She is right under Scarlett Johansson.
Ah.
Yep.
Oh. There you go.
Yep.
There
you go.
Bringing in some characters from other movies. I know Janet Van Dyne is going to be in this as well. Yeah, looks like we got some we got some moves here.
we do.
Which is interesting.
Jon Favreau's coming back as Happy Hogan.
I mean, he was in deleted scenes of the last movie.
He was, yeah.
He was.
Yeah, so I think on the final note, I think we're when it comes to Endgame, though, I think you and I are both just really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing how these characters come back more than anything. I really don't think there's much to say other than that, Dan. I think we've talked about everything we could on this podcast.
I think the note that I think I'm going to leave us with is that I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the future of what happens with this podcast, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm looking forward to stuff.
Oh, wait. There's something very, very important we haven't talked about yet, and we just got to touch upon it real quick. Do you know what the biggest significance of Avengers Endgame is going to be?
I do not.
It's going to be Stan Lee's last cameo.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Can't, man.
Yeah, I'm probably going to cry for like that 1.5 second he's on screen.
I watched Into the Spider-Verse the other night for the first time, and his cameo really got me, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, I am, but it's like bittersweet, Like,
yeah.
I wish it wasn't so, Stanny. I wish it wasn't so.
Yeah. Yep. R.I.P. the legend.
R.I.P. And Steve
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Dan, I don't know what the future holds for us. I don't know if this podcast will ever come back, or if it does, we might do it in a different form. I've been thinking about trying to get it, switching things over to YouTube, but right now we just got some other things we need to work out. I definitely want to keep doing something like this. I definitely enjoyed. I mean, getting together with you and chit chatting, talking about all this stuff is always fun. But
for sure,
right now it's just things aren't working. Things just didn't work out. This has been a great experiment for the last 2.5 years, and I wouldn't change anything.
No, me neither.
No.
Would have been nice to be paid though.
Yeah. That's kind of why I stopped doing this. Oh, sad. So I guess this is going to do it for everybody. I don't know how long this is going to be up because I got to cancel everything with Podbean. But, for those of you who do listen to this and who have listened to us before in the past, just want to say thanks to all of you. I wish I could thank some Patreons, but I never got around to doing that, which is probably part of the reason why I'm shutting this down. So I just want to say thank you to Dan for always being here whenever I needed him. Thanks to Meg Fletcher for always showing up every once in a while. John Pareca, Nick Piccolino, Dave Cosentino, Bobby Maynard, Tom Whalen, and anybody else who's been on this podcast. Andy Picaro, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody who I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. I know there's been a lot of you, Brittany Renee. It's just been a great ride over the last 2 years. And I just want to say thanks to anybody and everybody who listened.
That was
Dan, you want to? What?
That was really nice.
I know.
That was really...
Now I need to wash my tongue off with bleach for saying that. Too sap before me.
I'm getting all weak.
The sap. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Having me, man, and if and when we find out a new kind of place for this, you definitely call my agent, and we'll work something out. Money's right.
Yeah, exactly. Some friend you are. Hey, good friend, give me your money.
Yeah.
Just further evidence as to how capitalism is screwing us over, Dan.
Well, what do I always say, Kyle?
Seize the means of mass production and down with the bourgeoisie.
That's what I always say, Kyle.
Exactly. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us for the last time. Dan, as always, thanks for being on the podcast.
Hey.
And for all of you out there in podcast land, one last time, bye.